Hi guys, I'm Stacy with HandmadeByStacyJ. Today I'm going to show you how to do the body of the Birthday Sorbet Blanket. This is a fun baby blanket. It works with corner to corner. However, if you look at it, there's a little extra texture in there, and that's because we use popcorns in the corner to corners. But we don't do them on the edges. The edges are just regular corner to corner. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to do the starting of the corner to corner and then working with the increases. Then we go up to the halfway point, and then we begin learning how to do the decreases. Now in our second video, we will have the instructions on how to do the border. So before we get started, please be sure to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see the pattern, feel free to visit my website at www.handmadebystacyj.com. And let's go ahead and grab your hook, grab some yarn, and let's get started. Let's go over the materials we're going to need for this blanket. And before we start, I want to throw out a huge thank you to Mary Maxim for providing the yarn for this blanket. I am using the Mellow Spun DK from Mary Maxim, and this yarn is lovely. And my main color is cream, and then we have all these other colors. We actually have a total of 10 contrast colors. And I'll go over the exact amounts here in just a moment. But this yarn is wonderful. It is 100% acrylic. It has approximately 284 yards or 260 meters, and it's 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. And this is a DK weight. And it really is just so nice to work with. It's quite squishy, very nice. And it is also, has the care instructions right here, machine washable. So that makes it really nice, and it can be tumble dry. Perfect for a baby blanket. I've had 2 babies. Trust me, I like machine washable for anything for my babies. Now we have other materials that we're going to need, but first let's go over the quantities of the yarn. For the main color, I'm using the color cream, and for that you'll need 1,156 yards or 1,057 meters. For contrast color number 1, I'm using pink. You'll need 116 yards or 106 meters. Contrast color number 2 is Stream, and you'll need 79 yards or 72 meters. Contrast color number 3 is Mauve, and you'll need 31 yards or 28 meters. Contrast color number 4 is Toasted Almond, and you'll need 39 yards or 36 meters. Contrast color number 5 is Chamomile, which you will need 97 yards or 89 meters. Contrast color number 6 is Dusty Peach, and you'll need 51 yards or 47 meters. Contrast color number 7 is Orchid, and you'll need 119 yards or 109 meters. Contrast color number 8 is Aquamarine, and you'll need 132 yards or 121 meters. Contrast color number 9 is Juniper. You'll need 79 yards or 72 meters. And our last one is contrast color number 10 in the color Spring Green, where you'll need 172 yards or 157 meters. So we're also going to need a crochet hook. And what I have here is my Furls Galaxy Streamline Resin Hook. And it's a size G or 4 millimeter. And I love this hook. I like how it holds in my hand. I do have a knife grip, so these work really well for me. You're also going to need either some scrap yarn or a handful of stitch markers. And this is just to help with the border, just for the placement of some stitches. You might not even need this many. Again, totally optional. As with any project, you'll need scissors and a tapestry needle. Before we begin the actual stitches of the blanket, I wanted to go over this chart that I've created to help you with the color placement. Now, these are the colors that I chose for the blanket that make it very birthday-esque. It's very cheerful and happy. But if you want to customize, I also have a grayscale chart available on the website that's part of the pattern, where it's in grayscale, and all of these just have lines so that you can go in and you can customize it as you like. Now, for this part of the video tutorial series, I'm only going to work from blocks number 1 all the way up to number 9. Then we're going to move ahead, and then I'll meet you for number 45. And that's because these, right after you get to row 9, it's the same process all the way across until you get to that middle section of your corner to corner blanket. Now, another thing to remember is that the colored sections are going to be worked only on the right side, and these are the rows where you're going to be doing popcorns. So let's go ahead and get started on the stitches. Now, if you haven't done corner to corner crochet before, I think you'll be amazed at how simple this really is. So what we're going to do is first we're going to begin with our slip knot, and then we're going to chain 6. So this is with your main color, which in my case is cream. So chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in the 4th chain from the hook, we're going to work a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. So in this 4th chain, work a double crochet. So that's 1. And then we're going to work a double crochet in each of the next 2 chains. So you'll end up with a total of 3 double crochets and then that chain 3 space. And this is what you should have. So it's just a little bitty guy. But these chain 3 spaces here are a very important part of working corner to corner. So now that we've done that first block, now we're going to begin our, I don't know if these are really called rows or sections, but we're going to work on, I'm just going to call them rows. We're going to work on row number 2. So we're going to begin by chaining 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in that 4th chain from the hook, we're going to work a double crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now we have these 2 little pieces, so we're going to flip that first one up so that that chain 3 space is right at the top, and you're going to work a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space. So 1, 2, and 3. And this is what it should look like. And this is the very beginning of that first corner. So if you look at the chart, what we have just done is number 1 and number 2. So now we're going to do 3 and 4 the same way we just did number 2. So we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In that 4th chain from the hook, work that double crochet, and then a double crochet in each of the next 2 chains. Then we're going to turn this guy up, work a slip stitch in that next chain 3 space, right here, work a slip stitch, and then chain 3. Then you're going to work 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, and this just brings the blocks in together. Slip stitch and chain 3. Then 3 double crochets. And this is really all corner to corner is, but I like to add a little twist, and that's why we'll be doing popcorns here once we get to number 5. So this is what we have so far. Now we're going to do it one more time. So chain 6. And in that 4th chain from the hook, work a double crochet. And then a double crochet in each of the next 2 chains. 1 and 2. Then we're going to bring this up, do a slip stitch in that chain 3 space. Chain 3 and 3 double crochets. It's 1, 2, and 3. Then slip stitch into the next chain 3 space and chain 3 and 3 double crochets. It's 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch in the next chain 3 space, chain 3, then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to be changing to our contrast color number 1, which in my case is pink. So I am going to grab my pink yarn, which is right here. This is a nice, vibrant, happy pink. To join the pink, I'm going to actually undo that last part of this stitch because I want to have the pink complete that. So I have my pink here, and I'm going to bring that on in. Then I'm going to tighten that up a little bit, and I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then in the 4th chain from the hook, we're going to work a double crochet. And then we'll work a double crochet in each of the next 2 chains. 1 and 2. And now this is where you're going to get to make a decision on if you want to carry your main color with you, because we're going to be changing it back to the main color after we finish this round or this row. Or you can cut the yarn and have a tail. Because it's just a short section, I'm going to carry my yarn up here, but it's only for the first time of the contrast color that I change, and it's for the last one of the blanket, because all the others I will cut and I will weave in. So I'm going to carry this little guy up with me, always facing the back side, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into this chain 3 space. Then we're going to chain 3. And in this chain 3 space, we're going to work a double crochet, a popcorn, and a double crochet. So double crochet, and then a popcorn. And the popcorn has 5 double crochets in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to raise that loop, take out our hook, and we're going to count back 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll insert our hook, grab that loop, pull that little guy closed, and then do a chain. And I pull my chain kind of tight just to secure that little guy. And then a double crochet. Being sure if you are carrying your yarn to carry it with you as you do this. There's many times I've done this and I forget to carry it with me up even 1, and I will always tear back to fix that. So I'm going to give it just a little tug so that it's up against the work, but not too tight because you don't want it to get wonky. Now we're going to do just what we just did here. We're going to do it again right here. So join with a slip stitch and chain 3. Then we're going to work a double crochet and then a popcorn. So 5 double crochets for that popcorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. close it up and give it a chain, snug that. Once it's snug, go ahead and do your other double crochet in there. So the double crochets frame the popcorn. And now this is the last time that we're going to do that up here, where we're going to do the double crochet popcorn double crochet. So do a slip stitch to bring that block right on up, and then chain 3. Then work a double crochet and a popcorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now close it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And chain 1. And then that double crochet. Now I'm just going to make sure that we look good with the yarn that got carried. We do. All right. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when we do these, the popcorns are never going to be when we start or when we finish. The popcorns are always one block in on each side. So just to keep that in mind. So what we're going to do on this one is we're just going to slip stitch, chain 3, and work 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and before I finish this one, I'm going to tidy that up because I'm going to change back to my main color. So I'll finish that up. And this is what it should look like for you. See, we've got the little popcorn, so it's getting nice and happy. I love the texture of this. So now you can go ahead and cut that contrast color because you're not going to be using it until we get to the middle of the blanket. So now what we're going to do is, before we turn, I just want to show you here on the chart. See what we've done now is we just completed row 5. So now we're going to do 3 rows in the white, doing as we did. So I'll just get you started off here, and then I'll meet you at the end of row 6. So to start the row 6, we're going to chain 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's that double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. It's 1. And then 1 in the next chain and 1 in the next chain. So a total of 3, just as we've been doing. And another thing that I super highly recommend, and I really try to practice what I preach, is when you have these ends, try working them in like every time you do like a couple color changes, because you end up with quite a few of them. So just to make your life a little bit easier. Now we're going to work with that slip stitch into the next chain 3, and then we're going to chain 3 and work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then continue working your way up, doing the slip stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochets each way up, and I'll meet you at the end here. I'm finishing up row 6. I just need to do these last 3 double crochets. 2, 3, and then we'll end it by chaining 6. And then we'll work that double crochet in the 3rd chain or the 4th chain, and then 1 in each of the next 2. So we're just going to continue working that standard corner to corner as we've been doing for 2 more times. So again, I'm going to reference back to the chart. So we just did row 6. Now we're going to do 7, which is all white, and row 8, which is all, well, I should say not all white, all the main color. So I'm going to work those 2 rows, and then I'll meet you back for row 9, where we'll work with our contrast color number 2. So I finished rows 6, 7, and 8. And see, those are just the regular corner to corner. And now we're ready to begin with our contrast color number 2 for row number 9. So I have cut my main color because I don't want to carry it this far along up the blanket. If you want to, it's totally up to you. It's your preference. But I also haven't woven in my ends yet. So I typically do that after about 2 color changes. So just a little tip there for you. So I'm going to join my contrast color number 2, which in my case is Stream. It's a beautiful blue. So I'm going to join that, and I am going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in that 4th chain from the hook, we'll work that regular corner to corner by doing the 1 double crochet and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 chains. And for this row, I'm just going to get you started on it because I think it'll feel pretty familiar once you get going. So we're going to find that chain 3 space, do that slip stitch, then chain 3. And now we're going to go back to working the 1 double crochet, the 5 double crochet popcorn, and then the 1 double crochet. So 1 double crochet, and then the popcorn. So 5 double crochets total for that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to count back 5. Insert our hook, close this little guy up, and give him a very snug chain 1, and then double crochet. And then that's all you're going to do all the way up, is you're going to work the slip stitch, chain 3, 1 double crochet, a popcorn with the chain 1 to close it, and 1 double crochet. And you'll do that all the way up until you get to this top one where you just work the standard corner to corner, just like we did down here. Now to continue with this, you're just going to use your chart so that you can know your color placements. So you'll work the rest of the blue, and then you'll work 3 in your main color, and then you'll go to contrast color number 3, then 3 of the main color. So that's the pattern that goes all the way here. So I'm just going to work all of these, and then I will meet you when we start row 45, because then I can show you how we're going to get started to finish that. So I will see you in just a little while. So I'm coming up to the end of the 45th row. This is the one with the pink that goes right up the center. I'm just wrapping up this last popcorn in the chain 1, a double crochet. And now we're going to end this one a little bit differently. We're still going to do a slip stitch into that final chain 3, and we're going to chain 3 and work 3 double crochets. But then we're going to end it differently. So 1, 2, and 3. But I'm going to end this with my white, just like we would before. Before we do, I'm going to just go ahead and cut your pink. And we'll change off to the white. Now, instead of doing the chain 6, we are going to do 3 slip stitches. So we're going to slip stitch in this one, this one, this one, and then we're going to slip stitch into this chain 3 space. This is how we begin the decrease. So we work a slip stitch and a slip stitch and a slip stitch and then a slip stitch in that chain 3 space. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space. So 1, 2, 3. And that's really the main difference when you are working with the corner to corner. Because we finished that corner, now it's time to start making the blanket go out this way. So now we're going to begin making this corner look like the bottom corner. So it's just going to start to, create a corner. So that's what we're going to be working on as we do these decrease rounds. So if you were to look at the chart, you would see that now, instead of building out, we are now going to build up. And as we do, we're decreasing each and every round. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row number 46. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and finish this row number 46 so I can show you how to end that one. And instead of doing a second video on showing you the decreases, I thought I'd just tag this onto this video so you're not hopping all over the place. So I'm going to finish this row and I'll meet you right back here. I'm coming up to the end of my 46th row. And now when you have this last little step, we're just going to work that slip stitch in that chain 3 space, chain 3, and work 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're just going to work a slip stitch into this chain 3 space, and then we're going to turn and work 3 slip stitches. So 1 slip stitch over the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, whoops, I don't want to split my yarn. There we go. 3. Then we'll work a slip stitch into this chain 3 space and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then work 3 double crochets. And then it's just like doing the regular corner to corner that we've been doing. And we'll just continue in that pattern until we get towards the end of the blanket. So I'm going to show you a little something on the chart. Now, when you're working the popcorn rows, remember that that very last square on either end of the blanket, so this last one and this last one, these are regular C2Cs, so it's just the 3 double crochets in there. And then you do the popcorns. So when you're ending it, just be careful of that, so that way you don't end up with a popcorn on the very edge. So go ahead and continue working in this pattern. And then what I'm going to do is continue working it as well. And I'll meet you when we get up here towards the end, so that way we can finish off this body together. So I've finished all the decreases except for these last couple that we have here at the very end. So I figured we would just finish these up together. And I wasn't too good about weaving in my ends on this one, but we'll take care of that before we begin the border. So we're going to finish these last 2 rows. So we have our chain 3 right here, and we're going to work as we have been, which is 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to work that slip stitch in the next chain 3 space, and chain 3, and 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and then work that slip stitch into that next chain 3. Then we're going to turn our work and work a slip stitch in each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then a slip stitch in that chain 3 space. Then chain 3, and then we'll finish this off by doing 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And slip stitch into that next chain 3 space. And we're going to turn And you can choose to fasten off there if you like, but I like to do a slip stitch in each of the next 3 and that chain 3 space. And then that is the body of our blanket. So you'll go ahead and fasten off, make sure all your ends are woven in, and then in the next video we will work on the border for this. I do hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I will see you soon for the border. Thanks a bunch.